Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Shokugeki no Souma, Go no Sara, or you can call it Food Wars, the 5th plate on episode 8. Now, this episode right here, really nice. I mean, the way how it went, but I can see a lot of people still hating this episode and possibly the entire arc itself, which I can understand why. Both ways to another, but if anything else, that aside of what the audience thinks of it, etc., let's just get this started. We had to it that Nikumi and Megumi were just trying to look into what's going on, etc. But Takumi, Aldinis brother, is actually been kidnapped because of freaking Don himself making the arrangements of his subordinates helping him out. Eventually, we had to it that the theme of the dish is known to be amuse boche or something, some kind of small dish served before an appetizer, But that aside, we have to it that the Varena is the main theme, but aside from that, the way how Don makes his his dish is using some kind of shaker blender that's like that of a bar, but it's a little bit different from what it was shown. But aside from that, a Varena that, sorry for being a little confusing, the Varena that the guy uses some kind of small glass, and any savory sweet dish served in one is called a Varena, and it's particularly well suited to layer mousses and sauces to show off the beautiful visuals, etc. And there's a lot of layers that the guy made, There's 3 cups of it, a lot of layers, But that aside, this is just an amuse boche, And he says that I want you to enjoy this quickly. Like, you eat this one in 10 seconds, the other one in 20, and the other one in 30 seconds, Eventually, they all gave it a try, and then it's like raining fruits, the concerto of fish and herbs were mixed in there, not to mention the fragrant lab mousse and root vegetables in harmony, And, one of them says that this vibrant, and colorful display, each glass is making its presence known, Raw sea urchin and smoked scallop mousse, the perfect ascending layer is always slipped into the perfect spot, And richly colored show of mousses, is dancing in their mouths. And the guy ends up explaining, I call this dish One's greedy little girl 3 Varene set, And manages to charm anyone who eats it, as Don explains it. And it's like they're experiencing a glimpse of a show, Flavors dance and twirl with both charm and muscle in a richly seductive show, Round Tabi was trying to think, and how is this even possible? It was so impactful, but as soon as I swallowed it, it was so light. And then he explains it's something that relies on the shaker I used, Inside the walls were covered with deep grooves, And he explains yes, with every shake, the shaker produces delicate foam, That thick, smooth foam coats the tongue and then melts away in your mouth. There's impact and satisfaction, but the aftertaste is so fluffy. And Don therefore says, we can't have you getting full from just amuse boche. That's why I wanted you to taste it immediately before the foam melted away, while these Varenes were at their most deliciousness, And they end up explaining that they've managed to flawlessly complete the bookmaster's task in amuse boche that surpasses the very concept of an umuse boche, They managed to make Varenes that could never be created in such a short amount of time a reality, It just shows perfect teamwork. The teamwork that the Don had was actually a big group of men who's cross-dressing, etc. Call me crazy for saying that, but it's true. And therefore, Don explains nothing can defeat the sauce we create together. And we have to that Aldinis brother, Isami, says, this is really dirty, but I'm going to tell you the truth, though. There's one problem that you missed out on. I'm the one who brings out the best of my big brother, but the one who comes in second happens to be at the venue already. So you've forgotten one thing already. And later on, Yukihiro Stoma shows up to Takumi. Aldini says, hey, I heard you need some help here and there. And we had to it that Aldini's I never had no intention of calling you, but let's get to work, And we had to it that the Don says, hey, this can't be allowed because, I'm pretty sure that's immune to disqualifications on the grounds if you try to bring in someone else, even though you reported another partner of your own, of someone else. But We have to it that the bookmaster was observing everything that's going on and says, you know what? I have a tag team thing happen to bring out the full potential of their partner, you know? But you know what? Changing something of a supporter is not a big deal. So I'll allow Takumi Aldini to change the support member, you know? Due to certain circumstances. And I'm pretty sure she knows about it too. But we have to it that that the Don says, hey, this is BS, this is not fair. He goes like, oh, this ain't fair. How about we look into the situation of why Isami Aldini failed to make it to the venue? How about that, huh? And knowing that the Don realizes that he can't get it, if they look into it, he'll be the one disqualified and being a cheapskate cheater, you know? He goes like, you know what? I got no problem. Go on ahead. But it's not like, but there's one problem though. The only way to bring out Mezzalina's full potential is freaking like, his brother. Of course, we get to see a flashback of where Miyamasaka says, yeah, you know what? My perfect trace is no match for their teamwork. No matter how many times I do it, they're too strong. I can't even do it within the freaking day anymore. That kind of thing, you know? And of course, we have to that Takumi Aldini and someone were arguing about limited space, you know? And of course, like when Takumi Aldini and Souma actually held the blade together and says, all right, let's get this started, you know? And Aldini's like, don't hold me back, you got it? He goes like, yeah, who would agree to use this huge knife of yours? And they end up arguing again, which is really funny. And they're gonna make Marines that's like beyond yours. And everyone realizes that the way how Souma and Yukihiro are able to work together is actually fascinating. The way Takumi Aldini's like technique with Mezzalina is actually very arousing, or should I say very beautiful. The way the skill he used on that thing is down to Sparta, you know? Something that he learned from his training in Totoki. He's spinning the Mezzalina like at incredible speeds, you know? And he's chopping up the ingredients like no problem. And we have to it that like when Souma used it, it's like Tare, you know? He's actually using it proficiently. And then Don's like, how in the hell are you able to work so well with Yukihiro Souma? And we get to know why. Back then, when Takumi Aldini won Yukihiro Souma, he finally got Mezzalina back. And he goes like, fight me one more time. Next day, he wins and he goes like, I can't accept this. I'll fight you again tomorrow. So pretty much they had Shokugeki with each other so many times, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't know how many times, but in short recap, you know, without a lot of details of what their dishes represented, they've been battling each other almost like every day, or possibly I don't know how many days, whatever the case may be. They just been at each other's throats so many times because they can't accept defeat, and maybe that's the reason why they can bond so well together, because etc., you know. But aside from that, the reason, I guess that's one of the reasons why, and the dish they represent that they cooked and made together is representing that of a yin and yang, black and white, you know, that kind of thing. It was a Varena that was split vertically, you know. And we get to see to it that they end up trying the dish. The judges, Rantabi, the other guy, and the other one, another woman too. We see to it that they realize this is an Italian dish that resembles chawanmushi, you know. It uses somato at its base, and we have two that Takumi Aldini explained like, yeah, indeed. I sliced up the onions, then sauteed them, and blended in fresh cream and Parmesan cheese, then added eggs and melted butter, and then steamed it up with souffle, you know? It's a cheese-flavored white formato or something. And the black formato, they realize it's a soft-shell turtle. And he says, yeah, and it's cheese. Yeah, and soft-shell turtle Varena. And Don laughs at the idea because do you have any idea that dairy and freshwater turtle meat don't work together? It has distinct smells, etc. The most important thing with the Varena is to savor the various layers together. And Takumi Aldini's like, why don't you try it then? See what's up. And he ends up trying it and realizes that it tastes so refined. The turtle broth seeps through the melts together perfectly with the melted butter and cheese. Then they deliciously tap at your tongue. And he goes like, how could this be? How do soft-shell turtle and cheese go so well together? And they realized there was something sprinkled on the surface, and Takumi Aldini explained that these will be walnuts, sesame, peanuts, and other nuts. And the kaki no tane that someone used against Aldini the first time, he ends up using it as well. After lightly roasting them to enhance their aroma, I mixed them into the formato, and then used the Mezzalina to chop up all the ingredients to length of 0.1 millimeters each, you know? And we have to it that they realize, I see. The slight bitterness and spiciness of the roasted Kaki no Tane got rid of the pungent smell, and also brought two flavors together. The crunchy texture is so fun that you could slurp it all down, yet it feels so light. And they all saying, I never had such a amuse bouche before in my life, you know? And we have to it that Don realizes it's inconceivable to bring flavors together that was never meant to be combined. How could those two pull it off something like that, you know? Well, obviously from the get-go, they've been at each other's throats in Shokugeki, you know? And Takumi Aldini talks in a certain way by saying, well, I guess it wasn't a total waste. All the time we spent together since we met, that is. And Yuki's like, what you say? But that aside, they end up winning, you know, 3-0. No competition. But, you know, Isami Aldini is the best partner for Takumi, you know? Eventually, you know, it looks like to me, everything seems fine. Everything seems alright, but not before, you know, Don gives up his ingredient tool to, like, to Saiba Asahi for him to use, you know? And aside from that, we get to hear some nasty news from Nikumi to Souma and the others, and we get to realize that the main chef that Souma realizes that have been taking down all the chefs in revenge is Nakari Erina herself, you know? Even the bookmaster says, you know, I can't believe y'all got a little girl to defeat you. We don't need the god tongue here in the blue, you know? And whatever the case may be, all I know is the bookmaster seems to know Erina very well, that she doesn't want her around. That's the reason why she's putting her through hell, and the moment she got through that hell, she's allowed to enter that main event, you know, that kind of thing. That aside, the next episode is called The God Tongue's Despair, you know? And it looks like Megumi is gonna possibly be next. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Anyways, this episode right here is just a match between Aldini and Don, that freaking, like, different guy who's a freaking cheapskate cheater or something. But you can hear Souma decides to step in, and you know, Bookmaster allows them to change partners, and then they end up working together so well because maybe they fought each other so much to a point that they got used to each other's presence and understood each other's, like, skills. Even Isami Aldini, the brother of Takumi Aldini, says, that guy is already at the venue, and he's second to me to bringing out the best of my brother. But, you know, as always, Isami Aldini is the best partner for him. And, of course, everyone else, of course, knows that Souma and Takumi Aldini worked together. They won the fight. And, of course, they get some bad news about Erina having to take down all the chefs herself. And she seems exhausted. And the next episode's called The God Tongue's Despair. So it looks like to me we may see a lot of what's to come. But that aside, who knows? So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.